We sit up at a campus. Today is there are only two genders. Change my mind. You, Thomas. Thank you.
I'm Madison. I'm co-president of Spectrum, the LGBT organization on campus.
Great.
Love to talk to you about this.
Everyone has said sex is different from gender, and gender is not non-binary. So I would allow you to kind of unpack that for me.
Yeah, so in Western society at least, so in our country, in our society, we tend to think of gender to be on this binary spectrum of well, not even really a spectrum, just a binary. So you have man, woman, and that's it. Those are the only two options. However, gender really is more of a spectrum. So it's non-binary. There are not just two options.
Okay.
You have man, woman, and then everything that doesn't fit into just man and woman is considered non-binary. That's an umbrella term, and that includes a lot of different categorizations.
So how many genders are there?
You can't put a number on the number of genders because everyone uses different words to classify themselves.
I would disagree. That's where it changed my mind. I'm not convinced that anyone can just use any classification for themselves for their gender, and certainly not that then we have to compel society to address them this way, right? I'm sure you can understand that the compelling of language is an issue.
So what gender do you think you are?
Well, I'm a male.
Okay, well I think you're a woman.
No, legally I'm a male.
Oh,
It says on my driver's license that I'm a male.
okay, so that's your sex.
No, yeah, but I'm also a
That's your
male.
sex. It's your sex.
It says on my carrier
So,
certificate that
I
I'm a
don't-
male.
what if I say I
Gender.
don't
Some legal
believe you?
documentation say gender.
What if I say I don't believe you?
It doesn't matter.
Exactly, it doesn't matter if you don't believe me.
No, it doesn't matter because biologically,
What gender do you think I am?
I would assume you're female.
Yeah, see, you're making assumptions.
Yes.
I identify as non-binary.
I don't, respectfully, it doesn't matter.
It does matter.
Now, let me ask you this. What would you say if I
It matters
have...
what pronouns you use for me. It matters how I'm
Okay.
socialized in society. It matters my gender expression. It matters the way that I'm allowed to express myself. It matters what bathroom I use. It matters who I'm allowed to live with. It affects every aspect of my life. So you saying...
What pronoun should I use?
You should use they, them pronouns. So you saying that you
And what
don't
if I
believe
don't?
me...
What if I don't?
If you don't, I would consider that disrespectful, and that's actually an act of violence to misgender a trans
It's an
person
act of
or-
violence.
That is an act of violence to intentionally misgender someone, yes.
Here we come to the issue, and this is why I'm out here. You just said that's an act of violence. That means
Yes.
it's an actionable offense. That means it's a crime. So you believe that for
I didn't
me...
say it's a crime, I said it's an act of violence.
act of
There's a lot
violence.
of things that are not considered crimes that are acts of violence.
Okay, so you believe it's a non-aggressive act of violence.
I think that, okay, when you misgender someone, if you were to misgender a trans woman,
Yes.
trans women, especially trans women of color, have the highest rate of murder within the LGBT community, right? So if you were to intentionally misgender a trans woman, that could put her at risk of murder. You understand that? Because people think because
I
you're
don't.
trans...
I don't understand.
I think
sorry, I
that
don't
really
understand.
does show that you're privileged in the situation then.
Yes, I
think that
believe
you're
we're both...
extremely privileged in the situation that you don't have to experience that, or that you don't have to worry about that, or consider that you don't feel like you need to respect people's pronouns.
I'm considering this and I'm asking you questions. You said these are the pronouns I need to use.
Yeah.
I said, what if I don't? You said that's an act of violence.
Yeah, I would
So I'm
consider
trying
that
to...
an act of violence against me.
Okay, so
I
that's a
would
crime.
consider that
An act of violence against you is a crime.
I would consider that.
So,
I would consider
do you
you being disrespecting me as a person, and that's not okay, and that's not even ethical. It doesn't matter if it's legal; it's not ethical. And I don't know how you can do something that's considered unethical.
I don't know how you can not allow me to speak and ask questions based on your own premises. Please, we're trying to keep this civil. I haven't yelled at you. I haven't accused you of anything. You're getting very heated. You said that's an act of violence. That's a crime. Okay.
I didn't say that was a crime. You're
An
putting
act of
words in my
violence. You said
mouth.
an
I never
act
said
of
that was a
violence
crime.
against you is a crime. So
I did not say that.
You said it is an act of violence
I
against
said
you.
it's an act of violence, and I said misgendering anyone's an act of
Yes,
violence.
you said it is an act of violence against that person. That is, in fact, a crime. So here's my question. Since we've now decided we don't know the number of genders, it's a spectrum. It exists. There is no set number. You've asserted the premise that we are required to use the pronouns that are preferred by the individual. We have no idea how many pronouns there are. We can never know how many pronouns there are. And to not use a proper pronoun
You could ask.
is an act of violence against them. Did you ask my pronouns before you sat down?
No, I didn't ask your pronouns because
Why?
I haven't referred to you with pronouns.
You didn't ask my pronouns, though. You just said you can ask.
Yeah, you can ask. What are your pronouns?
But you didn't ask.
What are your pronouns?
You just talked about me being privileged. You understand? No one goes around asking pronouns before they speak with people.
I asked
And
you
so
how
to
you
ask of a
identify yourself.
restructuring of society
I did ask you how you
based on a
identify
number
yourself.
that's
Did I
not tangible with gender versus sex is something that is incredibly corrosive.
Did I not ask you how you identify yourself?
No, I don't believe so.
Yes, I did. I did actually. You said you identify as male, and that would...
After the conversation, sure. Okay, well,
Yeah.
let's say that, sure. So we need to ask pronouns before every person.
yeah.
And if we don't use those pronouns,
Yeah.
how many pronouns are there?
It's the same kind of thing. There aren't like
Sorry,
a
would
limited
you
number
just
of
so
pronouns.
people can see the sign? Would it be okay if you just step aside for just a second
no-
there?
there's not
We
a
also have a
limited
camera
number of
going.
pronouns.
Thank you very much. There's no limited number of pronouns.
No, I would
if
say
someone-
the typical ones are she, her, hers, him, his, her, his.
Okay.
Sorry, him, he, him, his, and they, them, theirs. Those are the typical number of pronouns. We usually use 3.
Okay, so I just want to, again, the goal is here to change I'm open to new ideas.
Yeah.
So when we talk about gender and sex, right, this is a very new idea. You said in Western society.
It's not a new idea.
Really?
No, it's not a
So
new idea.
when did gender theory start? When did gender and sex become separate?
Well, they're actually, it's not necessarily the idea of gender theory. It's the idea that there have been different genders outside of man, woman for centuries.
Okay, how so?
Yeah, India.
India,
Yeah. In
sure.
India, you know, they have third gender. Native American cultures, they have third genders.
Sure.
In ancient Egypt, they had third genders.
Okay.
You know, so it's a very Western idea to say that there are only 2 genders and that this whole thing is a new idea changing our
Well,
culture,
you know what else
changing
is a
our
very
society.
Western idea? So it seems to me your presupposition there, correct me if I'm wrong, is that because other cultures have done this, there's a precedent.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think that
Well,
we're
you do-
hermetically sealed in any way.
So you do realize, and you talked about how very different it was from Western culture. So antithetical to Western culture, you named India, ancient Egypt. You know what else? We also believe in that's antithetical to those cultures. We're against slavery.
Why?
So just-
I'm sorry. I'm really confused as to why you brought slavery.
Let me-
into the discussion about gender.
I would love to bring it up.
Yeah, that's kind of a
My point is, because your premise is because it's found in other societies, therefore it's okay, or it is to be good. My point is
don't
there are
see how
plenty
it's
of other
harmful.
practices. Well, I'm trying to get to why I believe it's
Yeah.
harmful, and you're explaining why you don't. But the point is, if something was practiced in another society, and it was harmful in another society, and we agree that it's harmful, for example, we both agree that slavery was harmful. We both agree that maybe cannibalism is harmful. You can find these practices in societies. My point is, it's not a valid argument to simply say it's been found in other societies if that practice is harmful. So it comes down to the idea of, is it productive or harmful for us to separate the idea of sex and gender?
Yeah.
So that's the question.
so,
other societies have done harmful things. I think we can agree
but
that
I
doesn't
don't-
necessarily mean that it's
I'm sorry.
it's okay.
I don't think respecting someone's identity makes that harmful. I don't understand. I don't agree with you comparing gender identity to cannibalism or slavery. That seems pretty offensive.
I know, it seems you
Yeah,
think a lot
it's
of what I've
pretty
said is
offensive,
offensive.
yeah.
You've been set up here from the get-go for it to be offensive, and I'm not trying to offend. Let me re-explain what it is. Take any practice, okay? Take the practice of neck stretching, for example, which is not harmful, okay?
It is harmful, actually.
Okay, well, some people don't think it's harmful. They don't think it's harmful in these societies. Take any practice that's relatively benign that we believe to be harmful that they don't believe to be harmful. The point is, just because another society at one point has practiced it doesn't make it correct. Can we agree on that?
I'm sorry. I think you're making really false comparisons.
No, I'm not.
I do. I think you're
Can we
making false
agree?
comparisons.
Can we agree